Today, in this episode of Things That I Think About While Lying in Bed at Night and Staring at the Ceiling, I will be talking about the FCCs. Specifically, what the FCCs do with all of that money that it collects from you in return for permission to use our free airwaves. But first, a warning, and then another warning. I am not a lawyer. Even though my parents really wished that I was, I am just a simple YouTube hobo regurgitating the information that the FCCs have presented to the American people. Because, as I'm sure you probably already know, the vast majority of the American people are too lazy to look it up themselves. And I don't mean you. I mean all of those other lazy Americans. So for the real legal interpretation of everything that I will present to you in this video, and to see any important details that I may inadvertently leave out, just look in the comments section, because it is the comments section where the real legal experts will give their full legal interpretation of everything that I've said, along with their full detailed critique, just as soon as they get home from working at their shift at Arby's. But to help make it easier and so that you can check my work, I will put links to all my sources in the information section below, or on the side, or wherever YouTube is hiding it these days, so that you can confirm everything that I have said. And the second warning, during much of this video, perhaps the majority of this video, I will be reading from my notes, which contains all of the information provided directly by the FCC, mostly from their website, so as not to miss any important details. So if me reading from my notes is an issue for you, or likewise, if my demeanor, or the way I talk, or the things that I say, or the music playing in the background, or if anything that I say or do in this video makes you sad, then please use this opportunity to go find something else to watch. There are plenty of other YouTubers out there that will be more than happy to spoon feed you the rainbows and butterflies that you require. But you ain't gonna find that shit here. Now, before I talk about what the FCCs does with your monies and the fees that you pay to them in return for permission to use our free airwaves, first allow me to deconfuculate what the FCC does and where the FCC's priorities lay. I always get confused if it's lay or lie. We'll go over the FCC's priorities. And according to the FCC.gov website, the purpose of the FCC is to regulate interstate and international communications by radio, television, wire, satellite, and cable in all 50 states in the District of Columbia and U.S. territories. An independent U.S. government agency overseen by Congress, the Commission is the federal agency responsible for implementing and enforcing America's communications laws and regulations. And after reading through reams and pages of politically correct doublespeak, it looks like the FCC's current main focus and top priorities are expanding broadband access to 100% of the country. A good goal, but I think Elon Musk already did that with Starlink, didn't he? Promoting diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. Empowering customers by letting them know their rights and pursuing enforcement against phone scams and other unwanted or intrusive communications. Enhancing public safety and national security through secure, reliable, interoperable, and redundant communications infrastructure. Adding to America's global competitiveness and fostering operational excellence. And to accomplish all of these important sounding virtues, according to the FCC's annual summary for fiscal year 2023, the total budget for the FCCs is $381,950 US American dollars. And the FCC is budgeting a total of 1,600 full-time employees for the year 2023. And of those 1,600 employees, 212 of them are assigned to the FCC's Enforcement Bureau at a cost of $48 million US American dollars. So these must be the guys and gals that are out there searching for people illegally using Baofeng UV5Rs on GMRS or using their ham or GMRS radios without a license. So let us see what the priorities are for this elite enforcement team. According to the FCC's enforcement webpage, enforcement is broken down into 22 different areas, of which I will not read because that's too many words. But 2 of those enforcement areas are unauthorized operation and unlicensed operation, which, according to the website, applies mostly to television and radio, commercial radio. But if enforcement of the ham and GMRS rules fit anywhere, it's going to be in those 2 areas. So it is good to know that the brave men and women of the FCCs are out there patrolling the ham and GMRS frequencies to keep America safe. However, if you look at the Amateur Radio Service Enforcement Database provided by the FCCs, which lists every mean letter, every fine, and every jail sentence that the FCCs has handed out for violating the FCC's rules, if you look through that database, you will find no real enforcements against amateur radio, CB, or GMRS for the last 10 years. But I did not say no enforcements. There are a few, so all of you experts, please step away from the keyboard. I said no real enforcement, as in no significant number of ongoing enforcements of anything but the top most egregious violators. And even those, according to the FCC's own enforcement database, even those are very few and very far between. So if the FCC's is not using all of your hard-earned tax dollars and license fees on enforcing the ham and GMRS rules, then what does the FCC's do with all of those tax dollars and all of those monies they collect for your licensing fees? And by licensing fees, I'm talking about that money that you paid to the FCC when you got your ham or GMRS license in return for their permission to use our free airwaves. What are they doing with all of that money? First, you may be surprised to learn that the FCC's is not funded by your hard-earned tax dollars, as many online experts decree when they complain about the FCC's. The budget for the FCC's is funded by regulatory fees, which is not the same as your license application processing fees. And another interesting tidbit about collecting fees, according to the FCC's website, the FCC's collects regulatory fees and processing fees. Congress authorizes our authority to impose and collect such fees. Application processing fees are deposited in the U.S. Treasury and are not available to the FCC's. And according to the schedule of application fees of the Commission's rules, published on March 19th, in our year of the Lord Xenu 2021, in 2018, as part of the Ray Bombs Act of 2018, Congress specifically required that the Commission adopt a schedule of application fees to recover the costs to process applications and amend the schedule as needed to reflect increases or decreases in the costs of processing applications, or to reflect the consolidation or addition of new categories. And what this means is that by law, the FCC's must base application fees, that's the money that we pay to get our ham or GMRS license, they must base the fee on the costs of the Commission to process applications. The FCC is not permitted to make any profit from licensing application fees or to use those licensing fees to pay for things like enforcement or new office furniture. So the answer to the question, what does the FCC's do with your ham radio or GMRS license application fee? The answer is the FCC's use the money from your licensing fee to pay for charging you a licensing fee.